What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I'm reviewing the brand new Adidas UltraBOOST 19. About a month ago, I made a video on a leaked image of this UltraBOOST sneaker, and at the time, we weren't sure if it was going to be the next iteration of the UltraBOOST. To put it nicely, reception to that image was mixed. And then a couple weeks later, Adidas officially announced this as the UltraBOOST 19, and people were still skeptical, but they were definitely warming up to the idea. I've been a huge UltraBOOST fan since the beginning. The first pair I think was the UltraBOOST 1.0s in 3M, and that was actually before I even started the channel. And ever since 2015, the UltraBOOST has been one of my favorite silhouettes. So with that being said, I was definitely disappointed when I first saw this sneaker. I didn't think it lived up to the aesthetic glory of the previous UltraBOOST. The UltraBOOST 1.0 through the 4.0 were arguably some of the best looking lifestyle runners on the market. And even though the UltraBOOST wasn't the best performance running sneaker in the world, it was still insanely popular because of how it looked. And at the time in 2015, and even arguably up until this point, the UltraBOOST has been one of the most comfortable sneakers available. So it looks like Adidas is finally done embracing the beloved old silhouette of the UltraBOOST and is forging ahead with a more performance-driven version. Which, to be fair, was always the original intent of the UltraBOOST. It was a performance runner at heart, but I can tell you from personal experience that everyone that I knew that was a sneakerhead had a pair of UltraBOOSts, and I can tell you they didn't have it for running, they had it because it looked good. So without further ado, let's jump into the new chapter of the UltraBOOST, the UltraBOOST 19. So the UltraBOOST 19 is the first time an UltraBOOST has received a complete redesign since it first came out in 2015. As you could probably already tell, there are a lot of big differences, the first of which can be found on the upper. So like previous UltraBOOST, the UltraBOOST 19 does utilize a full prime knit upper. However, different from previous UltraBOOST, this time around it's prime knit 360. Prime knit 360 is a new kind of prime knit that wraps all the way around the foot and in theory provides better support and better comfort. Obviously the knit pattern as well has also changed, not only on the toe but also along the side of the sneaker. As you can see, the prime knit has this color split right down the side of the shoe. The base prime knit color comes in black and has sort of a smooth texture to it. And then the upper half of the prime knit has some white woven in, which has a much more rough texture. So after wearing the shoe for a couple hours, I've got to say this prime knit is not as stretchy as something like the UltraBOOST 3.0 or even the UltraBOOST 4.0, but I do love the way that it feels. Most of the previous prime knit variations were very soft and almost felt too stretchy at times. Prime knit 360 on the other hand, while not as stretchy, provides a lot more support and is still very soft. I don't love the aesthetics of this new prime knit upper, but feels great on foot. One thing I really loved about previous prime knit uppers is that they were all very breathable. The prime knit 360 is noticeably less so than previous UltraBOOST knits, however it's still a knit, so it's still going to be pretty breathable. You've probably noticed by now these red lines that run across the toe and also run across the midfoot of the sneaker. These red accents are woven into the prime knit and seem to indicate where there's a little bit more support in the prime knit, essentially meaning it's just a little bit less stretchy in these areas. As you continue back on the sneaker, you get to my absolute least favorite part of the shoe, and that's this clear mesh midfoot cage. To be completely honest with you guys, and I know this is purely from a visual point of view, but this material looks cheap. It's most likely not cheap at all, but I just really dislike the way this looks. It's just so big and just like stamped right in the middle of the shoe. Ugh, I'm not a fan. It is, however, lighter than previous midfoot cages, and because it's thinner, it does provide a slightly better fit around the midfoot. But this is the one thing on the shoe that I just really don't like. It just looks like it was slapped on the side of the shoe, like it was an afterthought. It most likely wasn't. I'm sure they put a lot of time and effort into this midfoot cage, but that's just what it feels like. I shouldn't beat up on it so much because honestly, it does feel good on foot, and that's obviously what they were going for, more so than aesthetics, but the UltraBOOST has always been one of my favorite looking shoes aesthetically, and this just kind of seems like a step backwards. Weaving through the midfoot cage, you've got these clean, flat white laces, and then at the top of the tongue, you've got this matching white Adidas tag. Before we actually get inside the sneaker itself, there is a pretty major change around the ankle collar of the shoe. Unlike previous UltraBOOST that had a very padded and pillow-like ankle area, the UltraBOOST 19 definitely opts for a more minimal approach. You no longer have any padding on the tongue, instead you've got this raw prime knit 360 edge, and that edge actually wraps all the way around the ankle area. The best way that I can think to describe this new ankle area is that it looks like previous UltraBOOST, however it feels like an NMD. Moving inside the shoe, you've got this relatively well padded black sock liner around the heel. The heel is definitely more structured than previous UltraBOOSTs, which is absolutely a good thing for performance running. As for just lifestyle wear, however, you probably won't notice too much of a difference. With the rest of the upper though, your foot is just resting against raw prime knit, which is pretty much exactly exactly what you had on previous UltraBoosts. And then rounding off the inside of the shoe, you've got this red insole with this bubbly Boost text. As for sizing, this neutral runner fits pretty much true to size, at least for me. It definitely has a more snug feel around the midfoot and the toe of the sneaker, which at the end of the day, I actually think I prefer. Also, because the ankle area is so stretchy, it's really easy to get your foot into the shoe. If you're planning to pick up a pair of the UltraBoost 19s, I would suggest going with your standard UltraBoost size. However, if you have the chance to try on the shoe first before you buy it, I definitely suggest doing that to make sure the sizing is right for you. Continuing back on the shoe, you get to another defining feature of the UltraBoost 19 that Adidas is dubbing the 3D heel frame. Don't know why they couldn't have just called it a heel cup, but it is what it is. If you didn't already know, this initial launch colorway is dubbed the Red Laser colorway, most likely due to the fact that it's got this light bike track sort of situation going on around the heel of the shoe. The most interesting thing about this 3D heel frame, or I'm just gonna call it a heel cup, it's a heel cup, is that it doesn't have a center. All of the heel support comes from this outer rim, which actually spills over onto the midsole. It's an interesting look, but not one that I love. I definitely prefer the filled in heel cup, but now that I have it in hand, I like it more than I thought I would. Moving around to the back of the shoe, you've got this new UltraBoost branding, which is now embossed off the sneaker on the back of the shoe. The heel of the shoe kind of reminds me of a tiki mouth. I don't know what it is. Then moving down the sneaker, you get to a very welcome addition, the brand new Boost midsole. Now you may be looking at this midsole thinking, wow, did that get chunkier? And you know what? You'd be right. This new UltraBoost 19 midsole has 20% more boost than previous UltraBoosts. So when you actually compare it to previous UltraBoosts, there's a very noticeable difference in size. I know they say size doesn't matter, but with UltraBoosts, it does. The difference in comfort isn't night and day, like it's not some incredible change, but it's definitely noticeable and it's definitely something that I prefer. In addition to that, they've also removed the shine from the Boost and given it a matte textured finish. These speed lines along the side of the midsole are also a lot sharper and a lot more aggressive, which honestly, I think I prefer because it defines the shape of the midsole a lot more clearly. One of the big things about the UltraBoost 19 is that they've taken all the things that they've learned from previous UltraBoost models and previous Adidas running sneakers and incorporated it into this new UltraBoost. To me, this UltraBoost more closely resembles the AM series than it does any other UltraBoost, and that becomes very apparent in the overall shape of the midsole. At first, I wasn't a huge fan of the fact that the heel cup spills over onto the midsole, but once I actually got a chance to wear the shoe around, I realized that it does actually provide a lot more stability in the heel. It really keeps you from sliding around on the heel of the shoe and really keeps the Boost from being too mushy, which I really appreciate. Finally, moving to the bottom of the sneaker, you've got this black Continental rubber outsole that was taken from the AM Speed Factory series. It kind of feels a little bit smoother than regular UltraBoost outsoles, and honestly, I slipped around a little bit when I was walking around the city, but it wasn't anything too major. And then rounding off the bottom of the shoe, you've got this new torsion spring in the midfoot, which helps prevent torsional twisting, and also, apparently according to Adidas, helps propel you forward. Overall, the UltraBoost 19 might not be the shoe that we want, but it's the shoe that we deserve. By that I mean, it's not the best looking shoe in the world, but it's definitely a step forward when it comes to UltraBoost performance. So far, from what I've felt, the UltraBoost 19 seems like a pretty good neutral running sneaker. I will definitely be coming out with a more long-term performance running review of this sneaker, so if you guys want to see that, make sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below. The UltraBoost 19 released in very limited quantities on December 15th for $180, and if you're looking to grab a pair for yourself, it re-releases in February 2019. But that pretty much wraps up the review for today. Now, I would love to know your thoughts on the UltraBoost 19 and whether you're planning to pick up a pair when they re-release in February. So of course, make sure to leave those comments in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe down below if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.